Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started? We'll call to order the meeting of the Halifax Finance Committee on the 14th of July, 2025. This meeting of the Halifax Finance Committee is being recorded by Area 58. Committee members in attendance are Cheryl Burke, Mike Bennett, Frank Johnston, Ed Bryan, myself. Mike Rignetta, are you on? Mike is not on. Okay, so we do have quorum, so we will go ahead and get started. On the list of items we need to cover tonight is the acceptance of minutes. First of all, the data for our meeting last week just went out today. So we'll probably have those for our next meeting, and also the hard copy of our meeting from town meeting, the meeting prior to town meeting, and what we did at town meeting also came out this morning. So we will hold those for everyone to get a chance to review them and vote on them on next Monday when we have our two candidates come in for the open position on our committee. Everybody okay with that?
We're going to hold all three, Jim?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Then we could everybody can have a look at it, and if any changes need to be made, we can do it at that point. Okay. All right. So that takes us out of that agenda item, moves us over to line item transfers. And Lindsay filled our mailbox today with some additional line item transfers.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I think one of the holdovers from last week was $839.04 from sick and vacation buyout to the home or health inspection services.
Yes.
So that is a negative. That's negative currently. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's just the remaining from the the last day total and the remaining balance from the end of 25. I did look at the budget and what had happened. FY25 was budgeted $86,910. He's a grade 11 step 3, and that is $87,591.54.
Okay.
So that is why he had said that there was actually, that doesn't make any sense now that I'm looking at it.
No, not if it's if the budget was 90.
Yeah.
And the salary was 87. There should be a plus of 3.
Plus of 3, correct.
Oh, I think animal inspectors included.
Okay.
In that 90 total. Does that sound correct? Because when I was looking at it, he pulled everything and he is a grade 11 step 3.
Okay.
But when I do payroll, animal inspectors also in there. So that might be the 9.
So the animal inspector comes out of the health inspection services?
Yeah.
Thought that came out of the police budget, no?
Yeah, I thought
No, it
that
does
was.
not. No,
Oh,
it
and
comes
not
out
animal
of-
inspector. No, that's
okay.
animal control comes out.
Yeah, animal control.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh,
Animal
okay.
control is police. Animal inspector is Board of Health.
Health.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, because we pulled his change of status and his steps and all of that. So I do know that he's a grade 11 step 3.
Okay. All right.
So what are the numbers we're looking at here, Lindsay, on this one?
So he just needs the transfer of the $839.04.
All right. And that just brings the budget even for the year?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So there'll be no other overruns on that this fiscal. Okay.
Very good. All right. With anybody have any other questions for Lindsay on that specific item? All right. Can I get a motion to approve $839.04 to move from sick and vacation buyout over to the health inspection services line?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Roll call vote. Cheryl?
yes.
Mike Bennett,
Yes.
Frank Johnston,
Yes.
Ed Bryan,
Yes.
and I am a yes as well. That is approved. Okay, so that takes care of that one. So the next one I believe is the 5,500 from custodial to buildings. Is that? So I thought that one had been corrected, but I didn't see any corrections on the forms. So building is what? It's now a Word document. Okay. So the question I have is this is now higher than what it was a week ago?
Yeah, the last bills got paid out last
Okay.
Tuesday.
So it's now $7,119 even out of snow and ice to preventive maintenance. So do we know what the cost overruns were?
Hi,
Scott,
this
do
is
you know?
sure. So, to be honest, most of the cost overruns, no huge items. Most of it is just the fact that we've been level funding for years, and if we have a bad year, think a little bit here, a little bit there, and all of a sudden you're over budget. We did have several overhead doors that failed and caused us issues. We had issues at the library septic system, which was a large cost overrun, and we had some boiler issues, but no one or two single items.
Okay.
Thought we approved money for the boiler issues earlier in the year for the overruns for the replacement and upgrade repair work associated with that.
That was a single unit that failed just recently. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about other units that we had coil leaks on, and just service calls in general that cost us money with the aging equipment. The line item transfer you did for a replacement is separate. Obviously, that was handled by that one transfer.
So this is for other units, Scott. The other 2 or 3 units that are in there, is that what you're saying?
Throughout the town, not just in the town hall.
I was referring to the boilers at the school.
No, not the school. Are we talking about the school budget at this point, or are we talking about the town side maintenance?
We're talking about the preventative maintenance of 7,119.
Yeah.
So that's
So we're not talking about the school. We're talking about the town buildings.
okay. So this excludes anything associated with the school then.
Correct.
So it sounds, Scott, like more or less, rather than calling it preventative maintenance, it was just general maintenance. It sounds like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of it was. Some of it. Yeah. Yep. So preventive maintenance, when I got here, preventive maintenance also included a lot of repairs. Anything that had to do with boilers, because when you get in there, you go, okay, this part's broken, but while we're in here, we see these other things that are going to break. So you end up doing as much, if not more, preventive while you're doing a repair.
Yeah.
I guess that's why they kind of left it together. So it becomes hard to distinguish.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's difficult for us to understand it when it just says preventative maintenance and it doesn't detail out the types of preventative maintenance in the different facilities that we're requesting the funds on. So if we could have more detail in the future going forward on that, would be extremely helpful to us to have a better understanding of what your request is for.
So
Sure, maybe it makes sense in the future to have a category for boilers, just point blank.
Yeah.
boiler repairs and maintenance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Something like
exactly.
that. I don't know.
Yeah, if you just call it out in your request for additional funds for overruns, whether it's boilers, lights, alarms, whatever that may be, doors or whatever it is, then we have a better understanding of what we're talking about here.
Lindsay, is there a different account that would track preventative expense versus an expense that's coming up for from a maintenance standpoint?
So in looking at the accounts and software, I have discussed with the consultant is like, can we not rename them, but can we kind of like change? Because it's always been kind of like an umbrella, like just supplies or just meetings. But in some departments, meetings is meetings, but in some, like mileage falls under that too. So I have talked to him about changing certain accounts and doing maybe a new account number. So things like this, or even smaller things like can be tracked easier. Because it would still be the same amount that we budget. It would just be under a different account. Like one would be preventative and one would be additional maintenance cost or something like that.
Yeah.
So actually I have been talking about doing that and looking into for FY26 how to do that.
Okay, awesome.
Good.
Yeah, but if we're not going that route, we can't do that route. In these request forms, we need to detail out
Right.
what we're referring to here, whether it's doors, alarms, lights, windows, boilers, whatever that may be, instead of just lumping everything under one umbrella.
Yeah.
Preventative.
Yeah, it probably makes sense just for a soft reminder to go out to everyone, as not so much now because we're just starting the fiscal year, but as the fiscal year progresses, just reminding them of what we need on them.
Yeah, I also was talking about possibly like next year having the department head that needs a line item transferred join us in the meetings.
Yes.
Because they obviously know their department and why they need it and stuff like that. So Scott's kind of the guinea pig for this year. But for next year, I did talk about having that be a possibility as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes it a lot easier for everybody, and we can get these things moved through, and we're not here on the witching hour approving
Right.
these.
Yeah.
So Lindsay, just a quick follow-up question to that. Is there any type of quarterly review that you do with department heads to see where they're at from a budget perspective?
I didn't do one. I know we did have monthly department head meetings with Cody, but we weren't really talking about like budget stuff. But the last couple of weeks, I have said out loud to myself often that this next year is not going to be done the same way. But so no, I can also, that can be something I try to do for the
Well,
next.
I think, and I would hope that Scott would agree here is that every department head would know what their run rate is, right, including whatever seasonality is with the spend that they have. So when they get to the fourth quarter of the year, they should be able to forecast out whether they're going to be over or under budget and start asking for line item transfers
Yeah.
at that time instead of waiting until June.
Right.
So we had done that when I first got here. Now I'm not real versed in municipal money, so we had done that when I first got here, and they said, "Oh no, wait until we get to the end because you might have an easier last quarter, and you might not need what you think you're gonna need." Okay, so now we wait until the 11th hour and send them in.
Right.
Yeah, that don't fly.
Well, we're going to try to not
it's
do
not a
that
good
this
way.
year, Scott.
Okay.
So Scott's going to be the first one there giving this the old beta test here.
He's the beta tester.
Bring it on.
All right. Anybody have any other questions for Scott? So, Scott, thanks for the feedback and the information on that. Certainly do appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
Thanks for joining, Scott.
Absolutely. Of course.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the movement of $7,119 from snow and chemicals to town building preventive maintenance?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Mike Bennett,
Yes.
Frank Johnston,
Yes, for the $7,119.
Ed Bryan,
Yes, and thank you, Scott.
and I'm a yes as well. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. All
No
right.
problem. Thank you.
Two down. The next is probably the elephant in the room at this point. So there's a request to transfer $30,000 from veterans benefit from veterans benefit to data processing expense, and there are four things that are causing this issue. So, Caesar, if you could do us all a favor and kind of walk us through how we got to this position.
Sure. The main reason, well, the three main reasons are with our Druva, with our backups with Druva, which handle all of our servers and 365 accounts. The server backups are credit based upon the physical data that's actually backed up.
Mhm.
So in April of 23, we had a hardware failure and we went to go pull from backups, and it turns out that not everything was being backed up, but not in the manner for us to recover it easily. That was in April, which was 3 months before the term would have ended, because the terms run from July to June. When we brought everything back up, got everything restored, we went back into the configurations of our servers and backed them up. So basically we had file level restore, which we didn't have prior for all of our servers. So that way we didn't have to basically wipe them out clean if there was ever an issue with it. When we did that, apparently they didn't get to me until a year later that was a substantial increase that they did not allocate for when they provided us a proposal. And so come in April of 2024 is when they said, hey, like, you're over on credits. And that's when we realized that there was a very specific way that they had it configured on their end that should have been done, but wasn't. And they refused to work with me on trying to, credit us and be like, listen, it's an honest mistake. And that resulted in us having to spend an extra, basically double our subscription to back up everything. That is not the case this year because we are no longer with that company as of July 1st. And it didn't really reflect on our backup consumption or credit consumption, because when we made those changes, there was so little time in the term between April and June that we had enough credits to handle that increased data backup from that short period of time, which is how it was explained to me why they didn't catch it until April, even though we requested a quote in December.
So hold on for a sec.
Yeah, I don't.
So I'm probably just going to repeat what I think I heard. We signed a contract with Druva. We were following the contract, and we had some kind of failure. And Druva came back and said the contract wasn't written right and you owe us more money. Is that basically what you're telling me?
What sounds like.
I don't think contract's the right word, because again, it's credit based. So we're basically prepaying.
Yeah, but you're still signing a service agreement. You're still signing a service agreement, which, for lack of any other analogy, is a contract.
Yes, and to simplify it to what you said, then yes, if you want to simplify it to that point, then you can say.
So I think if I'm hearing Jim, for our own edification here, Caesar, is what you're saying that the whatever agreement we had signed with them was a credit-based scenario, which didn't have like a not to exceed number on it. It was X amount of dollars per credit. And they estimated what they believed we would use for credit, not as a binding agreement, just as a budgetary value for us.
Correct.
And they underestimated on that number, but that number was never written in the contract because it's a per credit fee.
Correct. And it's not really a contract because we resell it. So it goes, it's not like we're working with them directly.
Yeah. So
it's a pay as you go kind of situation, but we prepay.
Yeah, and when you went to data recovery in April, that's when we exceeded the credits that we had allotted. Is that what you're saying?
That's when that action is what basically initiated it a year later, because we had enough credits to handle the growth when it initially was recovered, and that data was increased. That was increased initially. There was only 3 months left in the term, because it automatically renews on July 1st. So it was never caught. When July 1st came, we were now backing up that full extended data set. And then by the time it came to April of 2024, they were like, you're basically out of credits.
When
so it was a time delay, basically.
When we agreed to back up those additional data sets, did we set anything with them in terms of an agreement on the period of time in which they would continue to back those up for us?
That's all configured on the within their interface. That's on demand.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm driving at. So somebody, if they have to set it on their end, right? They need to get direction from somebody on our end for what that setting should be, because it's our pocketbook that's paying the bill. Right. So do we have anything that captures that agreement so that we can go back and look at whether or not it aligns the fees that they're charging us to what we asked them to do when they started to back up those additional data sets?
No. All those settings are done on internally. They don't handle that. So when we backed up those initial sets, after we realized when we recovered it, I worked with them, and we used our standard backup retention schedule is what I'll call it, which was not generous. I'll say, like it only gave us I only did 2 weeks of the way their system works. Is this AWS is a little confusing to me. It was like a week or 2 weeks of hot storage, and then anything beyond that I had to reach out to them for. But it was the amount of credits that it actually utilized was less. Honestly, it's very confusing.
Is this is this an active backup? Or is it active passive?
I was just wondering the same thing.
Sounds to me like it's passive.
That's what. Then it should be a lower cost, right? Not active or hot storage. If it's active, then I could certainly understand that as some type of real-time access to the backups.
Yeah, but the fact that they had to search for it the way that they did when they were
right, it sounds like cold storage or some kind of long-term storage.
Yeah.
The cold storage, from my understanding, is like part of the credit thing. Like they offer it, it's like included or something like that. But the actual configuration of those backup policies were done when we first implemented the system, like 2-3 years ago, when we realized that I'll use the technical term and try to translate. The file level restore was not happening at everything beyond our hypervisor level. That's when we went through each of the servers and did the file level restore. But what ended up happening is by doing that, it was duplicating the backups. on their system.
Oh, okay.
Hey Caesar, just a shot in the dark, completely random. When's the last time we had a topology update done on our
Last year.
last year? Okay. The only other question that I have on this one is actually it's not necessarily related to the bill itself, but I thought I heard you mention that we are no longer using them as of July 1st. So what are we doing as of right now?
That was my next question.
Over,
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
we're moving over to something that is a lot more cost effective and with a company that I am more comfortable with their reputation, and that's Veeam. We're going to
Oh,
be using their
Yeah.
Veeam?
local,
Yeah.
Veeam, and they're going to be handling our data and our 365 back.
So are we
Also,
doing
we also cut
are we on a
licenses
current
on our,
are we currently on a month to month then, so that we don't have, or are we lapsed right now and we don't have a backup in place?
no, we have a backup in place.
And that is?
Right now it's going through Veeam.
Okay.
We
so
have
we're with
we
Veeam,
get up, we,
'cause it sounded like you said we're moving to, which would tell me that
well,
we are in
we're
process.
we're moving the license right now. We have there's a grace period trial thing that we have set up. So I guess you could say we're effectively on Veeam.
Okay.
They're just
How many,
finishing
how
the
many
process.
servers are we backing up?
Let's see, two host servers,
Mm-hmm.
roughly. I would say maybe 10 VMs between both, maybe 12.
Okay. So 5 VMs on 2 servers.
Yep, and then we're also backing up our which is a third separate host that isn't at the town hall, the fuel system at the highway barn.
The what system?
Fuel system.
Fuel system. So 3 servers.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
So are we reviewing, are we going to, I'm presuming that we're doing some type of cost review every quarter so we don't have another $30,000 mistake or error next year.
All those errors have been corrected and should not occur this next fiscal.
Okay. Well, if we're going to check every quarter, then we'll know it won't occur because we should be on top of it.
Well, how are they charging for this, Caesar? What is it? What's it based on? Is it like an annual fee, or is it again like some kind of incremental fee based upon how much data, or is it fixed?
It is an annual fee. 1 second. Completely one vendor at this point. So
it's a subscription service, right?
I mean, everything we do is going to be a subscription.
Yes.
So the new backups are going to be they're going to be annual, and I guess the way that Veeam does theirs is they license the hypervisor or the physical host, and then you get 10 VMs for each one. And they calculated, we sent them all of our data as of it was like May, and they calculated what the total data was going to be for them. And I got assurance that this isn't going to be one of those situations where we run out of credits. It's somehow, I guess, built into their. But I don't think we have like a limit. They basically you pay for the amount of data that's on your systems. You don't pay for what's being backed up, I guess.
Right.
We need
So
to
you need to
confirm
keep
that.
an eye on that. You got to watch that so that if you do
Yeah.
get towards the edge, you need to contact them and find out what it's going to cost.
Well, just, and I'm sure you're aware, they're not going to call you to tell you you're getting close to your credit limit.
No. No, not at all.
They're going to let you run over it and then send you a bill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that unfortunately the hard way after I was not very happy with Druva. Because theoretically, when we reached out to them in December, they refused to say anything to us.
So just for my own edification, the Veeam service that we're getting, is it a subscription service? Is it a universal license? Is it a pay as you go? You know, what type of service have you signed up for right now and are trialing before you flip the switch on it?
It is a subscription service
It's a subscription service. Okay.
for 1 year.
Yeah, I think just as a general rule of thumb, we should probably just make sure that moving forward, we have any agreements captured in writing with vendors and don't take their word for anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that we have to work that way, but things like this happen if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but EJ, that's just standard business, having an agreement in place, inked on both sides. Everybody understands terms and conditions.
Right.
Then there's no surprises. Fees are the fees. We know them on the front end. We go over X, it's going to cost us this.
Right.
And not know in July that it's costing us $30,000.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that there was actually so that was the first issue. The second issue, which I take full responsibility for, was the fact that there was a typo on my budget sheet that resulted in a $10,000 difference. That has been since corrected.
So we're paying $28,000 for security software?
Well, that includes that's compiled. That includes our firewall renewals, our antivirus, and
Is the antivirus? So I'm going to presume that's at the node level, or is it protected by the firewall?
it's at the node level. We have antivirus in each of our workstations, and because of the cybersecurity insurance requirements, we are unfortunately having to get it with the MDR feature, which increased that cost substantially.
And I guess my final question is how could we not account for the OpenGov renewal?
Well,
That's
I didn't
stunning.
handle I didn't handle the procurement on that particular product.
Mm-hmm.
When we started, when we were told the budgets were due in December or the fall of that previous year, we weren't made aware, at least I wasn't made aware, that we were getting the system until January of 2024. We didn't actually get it until February. And I didn't get any of the invoices or anything. It just wasn't done through me, so I didn't account for it. Wasn't done. I didn't handle the procurement on it. I didn't handle the quoting. I didn't handle the invoicing. Nothing. And had we not had to expend that 30,000, there wouldn't even be a line item transfer.
Well, no, I'm sure about that. But I guess if you're saying that you had, if this was procured by February of 2024, it has nothing to do with. Well, I guess it certainly would impact the 2025 budget, but then that's something that we should have anticipated through a line item transfer.
Well, no, because the first year was paid out of the grant.
Okay.
So it wasn't even pulled out of our budget for fiscal 24.
Okay. But that was only a couple of months of fiscal 24, right?
Not. Did it
Well,
not make
run
the
for a
budget?
year. It would run through February of 2025.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we
Which
knew
is
it
what
was
it would
1
do.
year. Are we saying that we didn't realize the 1 year would expire the following February?
Well, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't say that it was like we didn't realize ignorantly. I would say it was just overlooked. It was just bad timing. It was overlooked.
Okay.
It sounds.
Budgets are due by the end of the year. In this case, they were due by the end of 2023 in December. We didn't find out we were getting the software until January. We didn't get an invoice until February, and I didn't handle the procurement, so I couldn't.
Sounds like there was an assumption that the payment for 25 was a July 1 through June 30 expense when it actually wasn't. There was a portion that was covered in FY 24 through a grant, and we were only budgeted through February based on the way that we drafted up the budget because we've used the wrong dates. That's what it sounds like, anyways.
I mean, it's possible. Like I said, I didn't handle procurement, so I can't really answer to it.
Because the shortage was March, April, May, June, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay, who's responsible for department budgets?
So his is under the selectmen.
Right, but who's responsible for managing the budget during the fiscal year? The department heads or the selectmen?
It would be the department head. This specifically falls under the selectmen's department.
Yeah.
But it is the department head.
Got it. Yet another reason to have monthly budget updates.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody have any other questions for Caesar? Caesar, thanks for the feedback.
No.
All right. Is there a motion to move $30,000 from veterans benefits to IT or data processing expense?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Cheryl?
Yes.
Mike Bennett?
Yes.
Frank Johnston?
Yes, $30,000.
Ed Bryan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. So that is approved. So Caesar, just for this fiscal year, track the expense. Licenses, get a list of all the licenses that we have, when they expire, what the renewals will be, because I anticipate data processing expenses are going to go up this year just based on the economy and everything that's going on around us. And if you get to December and you can forecast out that you're going to need some additional funds, let's get that stuff done before June of this year.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I do. I don't know if anyone has been told this, but I had communicated to Cody basically ever since we started off with our juvenile subscription. That this was going to be an issue, specifically for that overage. Whether or not that was communicated to you guys, apparently not. But I've made it. I've communicated that to him to let him know that we're going to at least need a transfer for that. I tried my hardest to keep track of it. But
it's your checkbook, my friend. For 12 months, it's your checkbook.
If I'm going to be I'm not technically the department head. I'm only the department head whenever they need to put the hat on someone. So I'll take the responsibility. I understand I'm responsible for the licensing and everything, but I only have so much.
Okay.
I only have so much reach.
All right, fair point. Then put together a list of all the licensing, all the renewals, and the costs, and get it to Lindsay so that the finance committee can have that. Can you do that for us?
If you can send me an email of what exactly you're looking for, I will compile everything and provide.
Okay. Very good. All right.
Thank you, Caesar.
Thanks, Caesar.
Thanks, Caesar.
Yes, there you go.
Thanks, Caesar.
Okay, next item. We have a new request for moving $13,000 from veterans benefits over to the Board of Health expenses for the PFAS study. Apparently, it was unbudgeted.
Yes. So there is that settlement that's going on. The PFAS testing and
Yep.
we have started the testing. We're doing it with a company that is already contracted for both water and Board of Health. It's Ty and Bond. So Bob had, I believe they asked, do you want us when we're doing landfill to also start doing PFAS? And he just said yes.
I see.
The settlement's not over.
Right.
And we haven't received any money from it because it's not over. But because they have started testing, it was, it did go unbudgeted. So the grand total, that's why there's two here. The grand total that he needs is being taken out of the veterans and also the COA wages.
Mm-hmm. But it says
so-
another transfer is being requested from snow and ice.
From,
Yeah, it was 4,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
The one with the 13,000
Okay.
says it's snow and ice. And if that's, just take that line
It's-
out, I would think.
yeah, it's not, we changed it. So I must have sent you the old one.
Okay.
I thought I deleted that. Sorry. It's COA wages, but it's $4,000 still.
Right.
But yeah, so it's just the PFAS testing. We started testing. Oh, I see what was, he didn't change the wording.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's just the PFAS testing. We haven't gotten the money from the settlement yet, but they did start testing for it.
Okay. So that's, I know that we had talked about the PFAS testing a couple of times when we were doing budget discussions.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So is that a decision, or when that project starts, is that just the health officer's decision, or is that something that the selectmen or the town administrator say, we now have X amount of dollars to do this study, so let's go ahead and get it done? And what is that process? I'm just curious, because it sounds like we just said, yeah, go ahead and do it, whether we had the money or not.
So if I was understanding what Bob said correctly, is it's actually Massachusetts. The DEP says you have to have it tested, and if you don't, you will be fined.
Okay.
I don't know
Is
if
that
there
time
is
bound?
I don't know if there's a specific time it has to be done by, or if it was just an overall. So I think that Bob probably was told a time frame, and that's why he just said okay. But it is coming from Mass DEP, and they will fine towns and cities that don't do it, essentially.
Right. No, I'm not saying we won't do it, and I'm not saying
Oh, no,
that we
yeah.
should not do it. Right.
Yeah.
Just trying to understand, when does that spend get authorized?
And by who?
Yeah, I think it was just Bob. Maybe he had a conversation with Cody in their one-on-one meetings.
Okay.
I'm not really 100% sure.
Right.
I just think he probably, if we don't do it, we'll get fined. Ty and Bond offered to also test when they were doing the landfill testing, and he probably just said okay. Based on a conversation that he already had,
Right.
is what my guess would be.
Sure. And aren't things that are over $15,000 supposed to go out to bid?
That
As
is
part of mass
correct.
procurement?
They're supposed to, yep, they're supposed to get 3 bids. Whereas it's with the same company, I don't really know how
I don't know.
I don't know how that part of it works, if it still falls under that umbrella,
Mhm.
so to speak. But I do know it is the same company.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Okay.
Jim, my understanding on that, we're required, as Lindsay said,
Mhm.
by a certain date from the state to implement a quarterly PFAS testing. I'm not sure what exactly those dates are. And I believe and we had talked about this in a couple of our meetings, of getting additional quotes from other
Right.
engineering firms,
Right.
and seeing what that cost would be to do it. And if I
Mhm.
remember correctly, these guys came in at a lower rate because they were adding it to their suite of sampling they were currently doing already.
Well, the budget specifically, if I recall correctly, we threw in an extra $10,000 for PFAS testing.
I
Right.
thought we did
This
too.
is now $9,000 higher than that.
Was that for
That's
25 or
that's
26?
what we budgeted for 26 was an extra
Yes.
$10,000.
But this is probably for the last, well, first of all,
We're doing it now.
hopefully we're not paying $13,000 a quarter for PFAS testing.
God, I hope not.
I know.
Mhm.
Well, if we would have had bids, we would know, wouldn't we?
Didn't Lindsay say that they started it?
Yeah.
Lindsay, didn't you say they started it, meaning that they are still doing it?
Yes, I did have a bill that they were starting that. I know there was one of the summer conferences. There was a lot of people freaking out because they thought that the time frame to have this testing started was June 30th, and it was the middle of June when the conference was. And there was somebody from the DOR that said, basically there were 3 different answers to that question. If you asked a different person, it was a different answer from each person.
Right.
So on that part, I think it's still a little, it seems up in the air, but there were multiple people that thought it had to be started by the 30th. So that's probably what Bob also thought.
So then that begs my concern here with $13,000 to get it into by June 30th for a quarterly sampling. Typically the sampling's done at the last of the month,
Yeah.
which would be June, January, February, March, April, May, June. They would do their well sampling. So are we paying $13,000 for quarterly sampling of PFAS? Was my question.
I think we
Yes.
need to get that information from Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not know the
Yeah.
answer
We need to get that info. I mean, granted, we don't have time between now and the deadline, but
Right.
we would like to know that nonetheless.
Yeah, we need to understand what
What's that
PFAS
schedule for
testing's
pay?
costing us on a quarterly basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I can
My
definitely
understanding,
ask
it's
him.
only for 4 wells.
That I also don't know.
Little under
think so.
$5,000 a well.
That sounds,
That doesn't sound good to me at all.
No.
No.
They're already out there sampling. It's just adding one more test
Yeah.
to the suite that's going on. I did this stuff for 30 something years of testing water monitoring wells. You add one more to it. You got the analytical service. You got a little bit more report writing to do, and that's it.
Right. Right.
So with that said, I think we need to have Mr. Bob come in to our next meeting if at all possible,
Yeah.
or thereabouts, because since we're starting in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September will be the next quarterly samplings.
Yeah. So on the one from the money from the COA, the $4,000 expense, it says the DEP ordered a study of certain town wells because of PFAS concerns. So is it some of them or all of them? I mean,
I
that's
thought
the
it was
ultimate
all.
question, but it
Yeah.
sounds like it could be some of them, not all of them.
Not all. Yeah.
I mean, the wording is not precise enough to say it's all of them,
Right.
yeah.
in my opinion. You know. So yeah, we
Okay.
definitely need to have a
We
conversation.
need to talk to Bob.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, but in the meantime, we have an invoice sitting in front of us, so we need to take care of
Right.
that too.
Or does this invoice include overage on other things that the consultant did for us associated with the landfill?
This is
No,
just for
I-
PFAS testing.
This is just for
$19,000.
PFAS. Yeah.
Yeah, well, then we definitely need to be having conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we sign anything.
Well, but we have to pay this, and if we don't approve
Right.
it today,
Right.
What happens?
right? Well, they're not gonna do PFAS testing for us. I'm sure, having missed 19 grand.
Mm. Yeah.
We're kind of up against it, I think, unfortunately,
Yeah,
with
pretty
the
much, I think, at this
PFAS, with
point.
the mandate for the PFAS testing.
Right.
And in line with what but I also am aligned with Frank on, they're already out there. It's not like it's anything, they're not taking 30,000 additional samples here.
I did way too much of this work. I know what it takes to
Yeah.
do it. It's one more vial. It's one
Yeah.
more bottle.
Yeah.
It's one more suite at the analytical lab. They're already running. They just throw in the PFAS in there. It's just like getting blood work done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Even
All
that's
right.
expensive, though, Frank.
This is just
Even
crazy.
that gets expensive.
Okay. So I think before we entertain any motion on it, I think, Lindsay, we need to make sure that our department heads understand what the procurement process is, especially for things over $15,000, because that's mass general law.
Yeah.
It is.
That's, just saying, yeah, okay, we'll do it is gonna, that's gonna put us in a pinch later down the road.
Yeah.
Especially if we have to do an audit or we get audited for any reason at all.
Yeah.
So if the interim town administrator can get something out in an email to our department heads
Okay.
as a refresher, that certainly would be helpful, I think, moving forward.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Anybody have any further questions on this?
No.
All right. So I guess we'll do them one at a time. Do we have a motion to move $13,000 from veterans benefits to the Board of Health expenses to cover the PFAS testing?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Mike Bennett,
Yes.
Frank Johnston.
Yes, for the 13,000 for PFAS.
Thank you, Ed Bryan.
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. So second motion to move $4,000 from COA wages to the Board of Health expenses for PFAS testing.
So moved.
Second.
Just one question.
Yep.
So we're talking $17,000?
There is the remainder is already like left over from his original account.
Total
So
amount
this
is
is-
19. He's 17 short.
Yes.
Total is 19?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to have some conversation here.
That's-
I want to see some papers with numbers on them, with the ink signatures and the whole thing.
Mhm.
be nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge because
Yeah.
That's great.
our
It's-
annual
yeah.
contract with these guys for the landfill is only like 28,000, if I can remember correctly, maybe 30,000 now on an annualized basis.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah.
And here we are, we're short 19,000 for additional sampling.
Mm.
Something's not adding up here in my mind.
Yeah. So I said 4 wells, it's about $5,000 a well.
That is ridiculous.
And that's if they're testing all 4 wells.
Right.
Right.
We
They
don't
could be
know
only
that.
testing 2.
We don't know
for all
that
we know.
either.
We don't know that.
How much is the fine?
I do not know.
$15,000.
It'll be less than this.
I'm sure it's more.
$1,500 a quarter?
I have no idea. I can find that out too.
No, Bob can explain all that.
Yeah, Bob can
Yeah.
tell us. So let's invite Bob to our to our next Monday meeting. And we'll just have a quick chat with him.
We don't have them on the agenda.
No, we can
We can do a
file
modification. We have time to do that.
we can file an updated agenda.
We have time, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, do we have a motion to move $4,000 from COA wages to Board of Health expenses for PFAS testing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Mike Bennett,
Yes.
Frank Johnston,
Yes, for the additional $4,000.
Ed Bryan.
Yes.
I'm a yes as well. Okay. That is it for the line item transfers. I think that should close out our books.
There was the updated one from Steve.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Vehicle maintenance?
Yeah, he just changed the account numbers and the account totals, I believe, was what the issue was with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the one that didn't
Steve
add up, I
Hayward.
think.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. 10. All right. Well, that makes sense. Okay. So there is a line item transfer for $9,893.55 from snow and ice over to vehicle maintenance for unexpected repairs.
Oh, what?
Well, this is the one where he submitted a receipt for like tires and valve
Yeah.
stems
Mhm.
and
I thought we
You know.
already took care of those tires.
We I thought we talked about it, but the issue was on his request, he didn't change.
the numbers were the same top and bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had to rewrite his request.
Yeah.
So this is for the 4 tires.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
4
What was-
tires and some other looked like preventive maintenance items that he bought.
Yeah.
And no detail on the preventative maintenance items.
Not
No.
really.
No.
Man, guys are killing me here tonight. Detail, need detail.
Yes.
It's simple stuff, detail.
But if you look at the form, it doesn't really, provoke you to put detail in there when you got a little line to put the reason up.
Right, but he did attach a invoice
Yeah.
to the last
He-
to the
yeah.
last request.
Yeah,
He did have that invoice with him.
That was
Yeah.
on there,
So what
which
was
is how
the
I know
dollar-
it's 4 tires for a Bobcat.
Right. It showed what he wanted, but didn't give the reason why.
Right.
You know, are they old worn tires? Did they puncture a tire?
Right.
You
So
know,
what was
what's
that
the
total
deal?
again, Jim?
9893.55.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So can I get a motion to approve moving $9,893.55 from snow and ice to vehicle maintenance?
So move.
Second.
You roll call vote. Cheryl,
Yes.
Mike Bennett,
Yes.
Frank Johnston,
Yes.
Ed Bryan,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. So I think that should take care of everything. So, Lindsay, just one
Yes.
quick question before we wrap up the budget piece. When do you think we'll have like the final budget for last year, like done?
Hopefully by the end of the week, my assistant did start, so I'm like showing her
Okay.
we did payroll today, bills and
Yeah.
all that. So, hopefully I'll be able to do that by the end of the week.
That'd be great because once that's done, if you can get us a copy, so we can just have a look
Yes.
at kind of how we did and what the performance was for everybody.
Okay.
Because I have, I want to take that and kind of compare it to a couple of the other budgets that we have.
Mhm.
Mm.
That we've
Okay.
got. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. So that closes out the line item transfers. So correspondence and as may arise. I have one question that, and Lindsay, maybe you can help me kind of wrap my head around this. I know last year we were doing this big software update, and we had,
Mm.
a consultant that was, getting this software ready for us to use at a municipal environment. Is it been launched? It was supposed to launch what, 14 days ago.
Yeah.
And we spent what, $80,000 last year?
So what, Caesar, when was it? Like May. We found, so I'll back up. I went to a conference in Amherst, the annual conference, and I was talking to other town accountants, and I mentioned it to somebody because they always ask, like, what software do you use? And I said we were making a change as of July 1. And her response was they told us they wouldn't be ready for Massachusetts until 2027. No, 26. And I was like, they told us this year. So we called them. We asked them why Sandwich was told a whole year later than what we were told. And they said that Sandwich wasn't a client. They didn't get past the sales, all of that. It was probably May when we had a meeting with Cody and them, and they said that Massachusetts has a lot of other regulations and rules, and they were not built out for Mass yet. So basically,
Not,
truths were withheld basically every time we asked. So we're not paying. They are still working on updating it. So no, it did not roll out a couple days
Thanks.
ago.
14 days ago. Yeah.
And it's probably going to be July 1 of next year. But we're not paying any longer for this. They credited what we were supposed to pay. They're still working on it. We're going to be trying to learn more in SoftWrite, and because that is still, they're not updating it, but we can still use it and still use it to more capabilities than what we currently do. And that's kind of the update on that. Unless Caesar
We're
wants
not, we don't, I hope we don't have a consultant coming in all the time now, right? Since they don't have anything to consult on.
So the accounting consult is still coming in to train me on things, but that's
Okay.
completely separate from
The software.
That has
yes,
nothing to do with the software.
Yeah.
nothing
Okay.
to do with the software.
Okay, that's more you teaching you the job.
Correct.
And
So
getting you ready
you
for that.
and your assistant, I presume?
No, I
No?
am training the assistant on what I was doing in that role, and now I'm being trained on
let's see.
more of the accounting side because there was things that I could do
Uh-huh.
that I was shown on the accountant side,
Yeah.
but 2 days out of the week were assistant jobs, like the bills, the payroll, that type of thing
Yep.
that I have to do. So he was
Okay.
helping out more so on that end, but now it will be I train her on that and then I get trained on the full rest of
So if Lindsay Martinelli wins the lottery and leaves, who backs up what she does?
it would be the consultant that we currently have and the assistant.
But wouldn't it be more helpful to have the assistant trained just like you are, so that if, when you're driving off in your Bentley, she can just start doing the work you're doing? As from
I mean,
and even from a succession planning type of.
Right.
yeah. So ideally, that would
Yeah.
probably, but
Okay.
she needs to know the most important parts of her job first,
Okay.
which is what we're doing.
Uh-huh.
And then if I won the Powerball tomorrow,
Yeah.
she would
You wouldn't be here the day after.
she would be thrown into the same situation that I was thrown into.
Let's just hope it takes a Powerball winning set for that to happen.
Yeah,
Jim,
really.
Jim, I do think that I do think the way that they're approaching it puts Lindsay more in the driver's seat for her getting what she needs out of it, meaning that she can keep the consultant focused on the areas that she is more interested in from a training perspective, and that she can also delegate what is most important for her to delegate this way. So I do think it puts her in a good driver's seat.
Well, my thought is, though, if we train the assistant too well to take Lindsay's job over, they're going to leave. They're going to find a town accountant job somewhere in the area and wander off to that because they know they can do it. They've been fully trained for that. So are we really training someone else's town accountant if Lindsay doesn't happen to hit the Powerball?
Well, I think but that's a risk you take now.
Yeah, but that's what's also created a lot of turnover in staff over the years, was the fact that, well, it was either, low pay or
Right.
maybe they're too well trained.
Okay.
I mean, it's okay to train them a little more, I think, than what they need to know. But if you train them too much, I think they just start looking at it as, hey, I can go somewhere else and do this. And now you're just revolving all the time. And the cost of training goes way up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're still using the consultant. They're not billing us. And Lindsay is being trained on the full spread of how the software works, right?
So that's kind of like two separate things. So the consultant that's training me is training me on the accountant's job. The software that we were supposed to start, we're not starting and we're not being billed on. And that has nothing to do with the consultant for
so
me.
then, all right, then I've conflated two things then. So that's my fault. I'm talking about the software training, not the
Yes.
accountant training.
Okay, the software training is, we have more so check-ins so they can tell us where they're at, because they haven't been able to, they oversold the product and they didn't realize how deep Massachusetts regulations go for certain things like tax title and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So on the treasurer collector side, they have next to nothing. So we are not going to continue to use two systems and train on two systems if they're not going to be able to match easily for us. So that's what they're going to still work on. They're going to update us, but we're not getting trained on it. We're not paying for it.
Okay.
And they'll let us know when they
When?
have a better product.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess the follow-up question there is this. When are we going to determine that what they have sold us isn't going to work for us? I mean, like a final decision, and we go look at something else. I mean, we've already, the sunk cost is something that we really don't need to discuss because we're never going to get that money back.
Yeah.
When does the town, or when is the selectman or the team that's at town hall going to say, this isn't going to work, we need to go in a different direction? And just cutting these people out of the picture totally.
Yeah. We have told them that we're not happy, and Cody was ready to pull the plug.
Yeah.
And then they said that they wanted to have more frequent meetings to update us at no cost to us, besides obviously our time.
Right.
And Cody said it would be up to the next town administrator to make the decision, because we might get somebody who doesn't even use SoftWrite either and
Right.
want to change to a different thing. But we are basically, it is going to be left up to us, and it is going to be based on the update meetings that we have with them.
Hey, Lindsay, where are you and whoever else from the town that you need to be involved with on this? Where are you guys in terms of conversations about shopping around a different alternative, providing that this doesn't happen in 26? Because I'm assuming that the ultimate goal still needs to be to get you to a new software, one way or another.
Yeah, so we were kind of all in agreement about we want to see what they have updated because it does, what they've shown us does look really good and looks like it would be beneficial. But we're also in agreement that if we have another meeting with them and they still have not made any movement on the collector side of things, that we probably should start looking around. Because at that point, yes, we've already spent a lot of money, but we're also wasting a lot of time
Mhm.
to have conversations that feel like they're the same every single time we have them.
Things changed.
So that's kind of like where we're at.
Yeah, there needs to be something specific that we're waiting for them to say for us to be comfortable that they will have a product for us July 1 of 26. And we have to decide a date on when not hearing that information from them is going to cause us to turn the other way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
because I would hate to see this happen to you next year and you're going to be waiting another year for the software to come in, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly. So I agree with that.
If we start shopping a new product, we're at least ready when it, if it all
Right.
falls down, we're
Right.
ready
Yeah.
to go. We don't have to commit to buying another product. We just need to know what's out there, what would work for us and that type of thing. But
And we
have
have
that
been
information
told,
handy.
yeah, and we have been told that SoftWrite, it's not getting any updates, but it's also not going anywhere. Like it's not just we're not going to log in one day and it's going to be gone. It's just not being updated at all.
Mm.
And there are some things that if you call support, they'll say they can't help, but we're also not using it to the full capabilities. Like you can do budgets in SoftWrite. Department heads can enter their own and request their own purchase orders in SoftWrite. We're not doing that. So there are a couple things that we can definitely start doing in SoftWrite that would make, I mean, even probably line item transfers a little bit easier.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. It's
You're
very
welcome.
informative.
You're welcome.
Anybody have anything else? All right, not hearing anything. That takes us out of correspondence and as may arise. Public participation. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make any comments or questions for the Finance Committee? Okay, hearing none, we'll close out that line item and move into next meeting planning. So I believe currently we have the 21st at 6 on the books, virtual meeting. We will have two candidates to join the Finance Committee to be interviewed. And then we'll follow the follow-on meeting is when we'll take a vote on the two candidates. So we won't do it at that specific meeting. We'll just interview them and then do it at the next meeting, or do the voting at the next meeting. And we'll have see if we can get Bob to join us to talk about our well testing.
Need to have some paper for this.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
email
Needs
him
to
in
bring
the
the
morning.
goods.
Yeah,
I'll email him in the morning.
that'd be
Yes, I'm
great.
gonna wanna,
Thanks.
I'm gonna wanna see numbers
Frank's
Yeah.
tough about this stuff.
with what it's,
This is
what
right
we're
in
paying
Frank's
these
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
for additional sampling, cost of
Mhm.
sampling, the whole kit caboodle.
I will let him know.
Yep. It's going to be a tough fiscal year for everybody. We can't just say go ahead and do something without, having the numbers in front of us.
I just can't get over these numbers for that PFAS testing.
Yeah, it's insane. I didn't think it was going to be over 10, but that's just me.
He did like when we were talking about it in department head meetings, he did say that it's like crazy. And he didn't really get it either. Like they're already testing, like Frank had said, they're already testing, like it's an extra. So he also was a little surprised by the pricing, it sounded like.
And PFAS testing, for y'all to know, has been going on for several years now. When this all started coming about 6 or 7 years ago, and then the EPA finally stepped in about 3 years ago and said, "Hey, maybe 4 years ago, said, "Hey, we're gonna finally come up with a criteria for sampling associated with PFAS in soil, PFAS in groundwater, drinking water standards, all of that." And this being a monitoring well for a closed landfill is a little bit different type of testing, but it's testing the water. It's all the same. It's just a different level of reporting of the PFAS. You know, there's a different window that the PFAS can be higher because it's an industrial landfill versus a groundwater versus a drinking water well, things of that nature. So, and like I say, and when they write these reports, it's not that much more work when that consultant is writing the report and putting the data in the table and presenting the table to the client in the final report, and then getting signed off by the senior engineer. It's not much more work. It's just not there. That's my rant on that.
And it's just a test, not remediation. It's just a test.
No, it's
Right.
just sampling the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, little tube.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's a liter or a 40 mil VOA or whatever the criteria calls for. And then they run it through the system and come out the other end with a number. They're already running the water through there.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Frank, when he gets on next week, I'll leave it to you.
I just want to see numbers
I hear you, man. I hear you.
and,
Me
and
too.
frequency of the testing as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, I think that is it for this evening. I want to thank everybody for coming. Do appreciate it. May I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you. Roll call vote. Cheryl?
yes.
Mike Bennett?
Yes.
Frank Johnston?
Yes, to adjourn, please.
Ed Bryan?
Yes.
And I am a yes as well. So thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you all next week, same time.
Thank
See you next
you.
week.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.